Hey there. Happy Monday night. This is gonna be a routine now. I'm not very good at routine, but I'm gonna have to get that way. What do y'all think of my unicorn horn? Bam. It's been that kind of day that just makes me have to put a unicorn horn on and feel like the badass that I know that I am. And I am really excited about tonight's tutorial because I didn't have to pick. It's really awesome when I don't have to choose between all the pictures on Pinterest, and I can just give you guys a little bit and you can tell me which one you want. So I love the picture that y'all chose, and it was really all about the lips and the inner corner. And I'm going to grab my, hang on, don't go anywhere. I was just able to pick up my iPad with my unicorn horn. What do y'all think of my earrings? Do you know who makes these earrings? Do you see this slight sheen they have? They're wood. These are not plastic, they're wood, and they're cut out, and they're made by Kaylee Jo Johnson. She's the one that does those leather feather earrings that I always wear. And she's amazing, and I hope she's gonna be on tonight. Heidi, hello. Hi, Christy. Hi, Amy. So anyway, I got these from Sweet Brandy, who is a new member of my team as of today, because I went to visit her yesterday, and this is what you get when you go to visit Brandy or Sarah. You get amazing earrings. Okay, so I gotta look at this picture one more time that you guys chose while we're waiting for people to get here. I mean, I did give you plenty of notice. I don't know why there's not like 40 people watching right now. It's only 3. Heidi, you asked me how to tell. At the very top of the screen, right there, it's right next to the live button, there's an eyeball and then a number. And that tells you how many people are currently watching, but I think it lies because I think that it only registers one person after they've been on for a certain amount of time, because later you'll see, like, as soon as the video's over, that like over 100 people have watched it. So I'm not really sure how to judge those ratings on Facebook. I'm not sure how accurate they are. But the only thing that you really need to focus on is, oh, here's the picture. Okay, so I just wanted to get that pulled up. The only thing you really need to focus on is having fun, and the people will follow. Okay, so I've got my picture now, and that is some Barbie perfect face. So we're gonna do some Barbie perfect face with some concealer. I have foundation, but I'm not gonna use it. Because I've just been loving the primer, been loving the concealer as foundation. So I'm gonna just keep going with it until I get tired of it. So I'm gonna highlight, and I'm using a little bit more product than I normally do, and you should be able to tell that. That's very light. And I'm bouncing between 0, 2, and even just a tiny little bit of 6, just to give it a little less of a gray and a little more warmth. Highlighting here, highlighting here, chin. Hi, Charo. Hi, Melissa. Okay, so now I'm going to warm up the color a little bit. I'm going to use mostly just number 6, which is pretty dark, but by the time we get it kind of blended in, it won't be too dark because this is our contour area. She doesn't have, well, she's got some contour going on, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. So the foxes didn't grew by like 20% today, which is ridiculous. And for those of you who don't know why, hey doll. Hi Maricela. Maricela and I went to high school together, and y'all should beg her to do some makeup tutorials, because her face, oh gosh, it's flawless. And she'll say, oh, it's just photoshopped or face tuned or filters. No, you can't fake that. You cannot fake that kind of pretty. All right. So anyway, our company grew way too fast. We had what they're calling hypergrowth, and now I'm just going between all three of the medium shades, leaving out the lightest one. Anyway, we grew 40% in 70 days. And numbers don't mean a whole lot to me. I mean, like, that was kind of like, okay, I don't really know what that means. So if I hadn't experienced that, I don't know that I would fully appreciate what it means. But basically, last year, we had 1,000, and now we have 10,000. But about 50% of that came in 2 months. So about 5,000 people joined in like 2 months. And it was the months that are traditionally the slowest. So it caused all of the people that make our makeup to go into like total panic mode. And they basically just have to rebuild their company. Because you can't go from selling stuff to 3,000 people and then all of a sudden you're selling it to 100,000 people. Like, you know, you can't do that without completely restructuring. So anyway, enrollment was opened up today. So basically they said anybody else that wants to join can. And I don't know, can anybody confirm if it's still open? I doubt it is. Hey Laura. Hi Rania. Thanks for popping in. Is enrollment still open? Can somebody tell me? I don't know. I have been playing horse doctor all day. My old mare has, every year about this time she gets, her eye just gets a little swollen because she hates fly spray. She won't let me come near her with the fly spray. And so she gets a little puffy-eyed. So I was cleaning that up. And that is no small task. Have you ever asked a horse like, hey, come over here, let me get something out of your eye? They usually say, no way. Sorry, I couldn't resist. All right, so I am gonna highlight these inner corners. As I locate my brush. I'm so sad that this brush just recently sold out. So it'll come back in June with the rest of the brushes. Okay, and then she's brought it down a little over here. Quite a bit on top. It's a pretty light eye right here. And I'm using concealer right now. Hey Jessica. What do you do when your horses get allergy eye? Leah has a big gunky thing in her eye. And last year she got it right about this time, and I just put a fly mask on her, and after a couple days she was fine. But I can't find my fly mask anywhere because, well, I found it recently in the pasture and then I brought it back, and now I don't know what I did with it. And I'm sure I probably didn't do anything with it. One of these whack-a-noodle kids probably used it as a sieve, panning for gold. Okay. Yours haven't had eye issues. Well, out of 8 horses, seriously, you don't have any eye issues? Okay. All right. She has like the world's tiniest nose, but it is like majorly sculpted in this picture. So we're gonna sculpt the crap out of this big schnoz that I have. Again, just using concealer. All right. Now I'm gonna give myself a little pixie point. All depends on how bad. Yeah, tell me what to do about eye gun, because, you know, normally I would use essential oils or something, but I can't do that in the eye, so I'm not really sure what to do. And my One Drop Wonder, I don't feel comfortable putting that in her eye. I put it in a baby chicken's eye one time and it died. I don't know that that's why it died. I'm just saying it died shortly after. Okay, now she's got this little dip right here. So when you're trying to copy a picture, you have to kind of stop looking. It's the opposite of what I tell you guys about looking at yourself in the mirror and how you should only look into your own eyes and just let your face come into focus. When you're trying to copy a makeup look, you need to break it down and stop looking at the big picture and start just looking like I'm just looking at her nose and looking for the places that are light and the places that are dark. And that's tricky if you've never done it, but it gets easier once you focus on it. Okay. I feel like I'm creating another horn on my face, but it's gonna get better. All right. We're gonna stop with the sculpting there. Maybe. Okay. Neosporin is okay for eyes. If you're needing an ointment, that's antibiotic. Oh, a few days ago from getting ODW in your eye. Oh my God, Charlotte, you poor thing. Like, seriously, Charlotte almost died twice in the last, I don't know, month, because then she also got, excuse me, we were doing yard work, and it turns out she's like the 1 in a million people who's allergic to aloe. Don't use our face wipes, by the way. Or the Calm Balm. And she was cutting down a big century plant, or cutting some leaves off of one of those big century plants with a chainsaw, and it was splattering the guts of the leaves all over her, and she like broke out in these hideous red bumps everywhere and had to go like to the doctor. It was crazy. Yeah, don't put essential oils in your eye. And Jessica, I should tell you that she always has kind of a gunky eye, but now it's swollen and it obviously needs to have some treatment. But she's always just kind of got a weepy eye, but it's usually not an issue. Okay, so her crease is a little darker. I'm just kind of layering this on. I don't want to go too much. Thin, dry layers are safer than slapping a whole mess of it on there. Oh, thank you, Amanda. I am pretty proud of my unicorn horn. Erin gave this to me when I hit lead beauty guide, and now I'm going for lead director, hopefully by the end of the month. So if you have any makeup needs, if you're buying makeup from the drugstore, please stop. If you know someone more local to you or closer to you than me, buy from them. But if you don't know anybody selling what you want, please consider buying from real people and joining the buy local movement. It could be local to your neighborhood or local to your heart, you know? But if it matters more to you that your money is paying for, you know, my kids' dance lessons and my fly masks for my horses, than going to, you know, big corporations, I would strongly encourage you to just start with, like, you know, hey, I need a new eyeshadow, or I need a new lipstick. And if it seems complicated or scary, or like, I don't know what color, I don't know what to do, you can ask. You can just message me and ask. I always have an opinion. And because this is my job, I'm never really that busy. All right, so looking at this picture, my husband made me a drink. I can't drink until I hit lead director, or until the end of the month. I'm not crazy. So I'm either gonna drown my sorrows or I'm gonna celebrate. So he made me a Topo Chico with lime. Have y'all ever had that? It's absolutely the most refreshing drink ever. So now I'm putting some of that concealer on this membrane down here. Because this is a wax-based product, it's gonna stay put, but I will have to set it with a little bit of setting powder later. All right, so we're just kind of building the base for some of that shimmer in the corner, and it's kind of a gold, it has a little bit of a golden look to it. Hi, Sarah. All right, we're doing a spring makeup look. Add a little bit more, you know, if it seems like I'm just doing crap loads of makeup, it's not, because this stuff has so much pigment to it that you just don't need very much. So it's just the tiniest little touch. All right, now I'm gonna highlight underneath my contour to give my face kind of a cut look. So basically I'm going to try to cut off visually this little extra part of face right here that I don't really need. Just can't seem to get rid of it. So that creates a line of distinction between the dark and the light colors, the contour color and this highlight color. So it kind of, by proxy, creates a little bit of a line there. And now I'm gonna go under my chin and get rid of some of this extra love that I've been given by my children. All right, do my temples. So what contour does, it sounds like it's shaping your face, and it is to some extent. But what it's doing even more than that is pointing people to your eyes, okay? It's taking away extra face and creating a soft landing place at your eyeball. So good makeup is more about removing distraction than it is about pretty colors. It can be both, and it will be tonight. But for most of us, for the daily purpose of makeup is to make you feel awesome, and so that when people look at you, you recognize that they are just landing on your eyes and staying there. And let's see, she's got some black eyeliner on and some false. Don't go anywhere. Sorry. I opened the drawer. Never mind, nobody cares what I did. I'm back. I'm All right, we've got some false lashes in here. We're gonna have to bust out the lashes because you can't really wear a unicorn horn if you're not gonna wear lashes. I mean, it seems silly. Even on those little cookies that they turn into unicorns, like lashes and horn, like they're like, they go together. Peanut butter and jelly. All right, so I got lashes, and then she's got those long bottom lashes that I am so not crazy about. And if anybody's looking at that picture, she's done, the makeup artist is probably not this girl. She's done something very clever to get that nice sharp point in the middle. This is not something I practice very often, so who knows how this is going to turn out. But I'm going to start by doing it with my dark concealer. Okay, so I'm going to use my brow tamer, and I'm going to kind of reshape the corner of my eye. If you look at it now, the tear duct sweeps up a little bit here. It's a tiny bit rounded, and then it kind of builds here. But in the picture, hers has just a little bit more of a point to it, so it creates just a more dramatic, sort of exotic eye. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna have to get closer. All right, can you see the color being deposited there? It's very subtle. This is not something you would notice if you didn't look really, really close. But they just gave her eye a little bit more. Now see, that is pointed too far up. We're gonna go down with it. Here we go. Now, very subtly, I've sort of moved my tear duct a little bit. Yeah, sorry about that. I opened the drawer and anyway, it pulled everything off. It's never smooth. This is number 6, Heidi. Controlling the pigment in the membranes of the eye, that's the part up underneath here and down here, has a lot to do with what you see when you think you're seeing really amazing makeup. The tight lining, all of those little details to the lay person are invisible. And it's the kind of the secrets that the makeup artists know. So this is going to get a little bit more dramatic as we keep going, because I'm going to end up highlighting on either side of that. So anytime you have a shadow and then you highlight on the other side of that, you're just creating more impact. All right, so now we can start adding, oh Lord, let's just do some brows because I can hardly stand to see it without. I just sprayed this with our setting powder. I'm going into number 40, and she has some pretty tight brows, but they're curved right here, where normally I do kind of a sharper V. So I'll just show you the difference by doing it a little bit differently tonight. All right, there's our bottom line. You can brush your hairs down to find your top line. You're making a little brow sandwich. And the top is also curved, not pointy. And these are just the many different styles of brows. There are just lots of different styles, and brows are very trendy right now. Every decade has its, you know, brow statement. Thank you, Charlotte. I need it. All right, so in the corner here, you want them to appear a little less dense, okay? So you can usually achieve that pretty easily by just stretching it out. Your eyebrow should start at your tear duct, but since we've moved our tear duct a little bit over, I'm gonna bring them even further in, and I'm just kind of giving this a lighter look right here, and then the stronger depth of color should be back here where the hairs are naturally just a little bit thicker. Okay, now I'm going to take a little bit of number 8 and just pepper it in there. Can y'all see that? And if you have a really good brush like this one, you should just be able to make little spots. It's going to add depth and dimension. Go ahead and add just a little bit more, and then you can use your spoolie, and that's going to kind of blend it in a little bit better. So sorry, I know when I get close it gets a little fuzzy. Okay, another spray. We're going to do the other side with the left hand. Oh, so scary. It's still scary to me, and I screwed it up last time. I don't know if y'all were watching, but I never really quite got it right. But most of the time I do a really good job. Hi, Nicole. Hey, Lynn. Okay, so holding on to my elbow with this hand so that I'm kind of snuggling up next to my vanity here. I'm nice and tight. I'm going to take it slow. Remember, I'm curving because in that picture she has more of a curved brow than a, see, I always miss the line right there. I always bring it too low. We're going to have to try that over again. All right. There we go. And it helps if you don't do this. You kind of have to force your face to stay relaxed. Otherwise, you don't really know exactly where things start and stop. And then when you come back to resting face, it's a little bit of a surprise. You like my unicorn horn? It goes with my pink hair and these magical earrings. You can't do it with your right hand? Oh, but you have to. It's not an option, Nicole. You have to learn. If we all said that, oh, I can't do that. You have to. Otherwise, you're always going to have one brow that's better than the other, because this hand is not made to do that. It just doesn't, it's just not, you're not supposed to do it. I've only recently discovered this, and I'm going to be quite a Nazi about it until I've convinced the whole world. Don't worry, I'm going to go back in with some concealer and carve this sucker out, because you can see it's too thick right there. Oh, yeah, I see. Bugs. When I turn all the lights off and then I have this light on, bugs. Did y'all know that we lived in a tent for like 3 months? It was kind of an accident while they were building this house. We thought it was supposed to only be 2 weeks. And we're like, our lease, you know, we had to get out of our other lease. And so there was this little bit of time. We're like, you know what? Let's just make it an adventure. So we moved out here and we lived in my catering tent and a little retro RV that I have. And it was ridiculous. But for the first couple of weeks, it was kind of fun. And then it got to the point where it was really, really annoying. And so we had to get another RV. But we still kind of kept the tent was kind of our hub, you know. So when I would be doing, like, we just moved our bed into the tent. We moved our, okay, now that is getting a little bit ridiculous. I'm gonna have to switch over. I have two things against me here, folks. One is I'm talking, and the other is that I'm using my phone and not a real mirror, so it doesn't translate quite the same. Okay, relax. All right. I just got to see in the real mirror. This is what happens when I change my brow shape. I freak out. I don't know what to do if I'm not making that. So I do have a unicorn and a donkey. Maybe you shouldn't listen to me, Nicole. But y'all have seen me do it. Sometimes it's perfect. All right, I need to add in that little bit of dark color. So little flecks. So anyway, we're in the tent, and I had like my bed in there, and we had rugs, and we had the nightstands and whatever. We just didn't actually have a floor, but we had these like carpet squares that we put down, and there was like grass growing up through the corners and everything. And at night, I mean, there was nothing to do. We didn't have TV. We had electricity. We ran the extension cords in, but I would read at night, and I'd have my Kindle, and I would have like I'd be sitting there and June bugs would be flying into my face because my Kindle was the only light around, and that was super annoying because, you know, there was no real way to close it off. Anyway, yes, my earrings are fabulous, thank you very much, but the ones you gave me are awesome too. Okay, I know it usually works. This time I think I just have never done this shape of brow, so I need a little bit more of a learning curve. And I don't want to bore y'all to death if I keep jacking with my brows. So we're gonna move on. I'm gonna look at my picture again and see where we can go from here. Okay, so I need a little bit more highlight right here. This is concealer. I think I need to do a little tweezing too. That could be the problem. All right, magical gold dust. So I'm gonna show you this beautiful onyx collection. It's I guess it's like a limited edition set of colors, and so it only comes in the set, but it has this sparkly black, gray, granite color. This black, which is actually more of a gray based or brown based black than our regular number 9 black. It's a different color black, if you can believe that. This looks like a light gray, but it's the color that I used in that favorite video of everybody's with the hat that had the raccoon ball on the back of it. So that's the gray that I used with the peachy number 37. And then this color, I don't think y'all have seen me use yet. Well, I just stuck black in it. Norwex cloth to the rescue. Clean that off a little bit. Those are your favorite eyeshadows? Yeah, that gray color is definitely my favorite. But I am still kind of learning how to use the sparkly one. I have never really been a fan of the sparkly black. It kind of like, the point of black is to absorb light. And so if you put sparkle in it, then it reflects light. And so it's just never been a favorite of mine. It seems like it kind of undoes what the black is supposed to do, but I have figured out a really good place for it. So it's not gonna happen in this tutorial, but it'll be coming at you. All right, I'm gonna use number 11, and I'm gonna clean that off because it's got quite a bit of color on it. It's That's why those Norwex Beauty Cloths will pull all the color out of your brushes without getting them wet. Okay, so this color has a little bit more of a golden sheen to it than the crystal color that I usually use. And I'm just gonna start layering this on. She's got quite a bit of it. And you're gonna have to go on to the nose. It's gonna feel a little strange. All right, pretty highlight there. And then what I think is interesting, there's a lot of photo correction on this picture, as there are on all really pretty makeup pictures, so you know, it is what it is. I mean, we're doing the look, but by no means am I going to look just like that chick unless I carve up my face with a knife and then do some wax sculpting over it. So I'm gonna try to get a little bit more power out of that color, and I'm gonna wet my brush with the setting spray and then go into that. Let's see what happens. Yeah, strobe lights happen. That's what happens. Oh, but I was gonna say, it's interesting that right here is the highlighted color, but then what she has on her lid is a very matte color. Okay, yeah, I think that made a big difference. So getting that shadow a little bit damp with the setting spray helps. I'm gonna go into number 41. Sorry, let me get back into focus. If you touch your screen, one of my photographer friends had to tell me this. She was like, I would love to watch your videos, but I can't watch another one of them until you focus the camera on yourself instead of on your background. I was like, what are you talking about? I don't even know what that means. She said, you just have to touch the screen and you'll see it go right, and then it puts the focus on your face instead of everywhere else. Okay, so bringing just a little bit more highlight to the brow area. And then I'm going to use number 40, the same color on my brows, go right over that crease contour that I did. And the purpose of this is to put a darker shadow right on this little bit of skin that tends to sag. So if I highlight that, it's going to bring it forward. If we put darkness on it, it's going to make it recede. So I'm just making this a little bit more dramatic so that I can hide this little droopy bit of skin there. Do y'all have any droopy bits? I bet you don't. Okay, but I don't mind my droopy bits. They don't bother me at all. That's not true. I'd get rid of them in a heartbeat if I could. But I've just learned to accept. And I don't have that as much over here, and I swear the reason that I have this is because when I was getting Botox, you know, back when I was able to spend my money on myself instead of my kids, my normal lady wasn't available, and I went to this other spa, and they had the actual plastic surgeon did it instead of the nurse, and my brow drooped. Like, it's a thing, it happens with inexperienced Botox people. So like literally the plastic surgeon sucked at it, but the nurses kick ass. Don't ever let the surgeon do it. They've got bigger fish to fry. They need to be spending their time doing, you know, surgery, not doing Botox. That's for nurses. Okay, so Gonna tight line this. Whoa. Hang on. A little excess. Wow. Look what just happened. I look like Leah. Okay, so this was upside down in my cup instead of right side up, and all the liquid came out. Aren't y'all glad that you're watching? Because you could have missed that. But I'm surviving. There we go. Okay, lesson learned. Don't let your liquid, I mean, look at that. It's all over my hand. Don't let your liquid eyeliner sit like this in your cup. It has to sit like this. So I'm gonna let that sit upright for just a minute and let all of that fall back in. Clean myself up. Good grief. You did the liner trick too, where you turned your eye black? Awesome. Yes, Darren, I will let everybody know when our mascara comes back in stock, but because it's the best mascara on earth and it's super affordable, it's out of stock. But trust me, everyone will know when it's back in stock. Sweet holy Moses, this is a hot mess. Okay, you know what? No liquid liner today. That's gonna need some surgery. Just put that back. Yeah, I mean, it has come undone. Okay, but no problem, because I can just spray my brow tamer, and I'm going to use this black that we have here in this Onyx palette. I just pulled the brush the tiniest little bit across the top, and it's going to be quite a bit of black. So now I'm going to go up underneath my lashes to fill in all those gaps in between. And you can see what a difference that does already. It kind of looks like eyeliner, but it's sort of invisible, and it just almost looks like you have mascara on, but you don't. This is one of those things you have to practice, and you have to be sitting down, and you have to be doing it out of vanity, and you have to have good light, and you have to have a happy place. You can't do this in the bathroom while you're slapping crap on your face. You gotta take this to another level. Always end up poking myself in the eye. But usually I just get the brush in and then kind of close my eye a little bit and then just pull it across and then wipe off any transfer to the bottom. Okay, so now we've got the tight lining done. That's under eye, and then it doesn't appear that she really has any eyeliner on the top, so I am not gonna do that, but I am going to mimic that same little dark corner that we did. I'm gonna go back into the number 6 concealer, and just because it's gonna get a little bit of that shimmer on it. All right. I'm just kind of supporting that again. And then I'm going to mimic that right here and just create a little bit of a line with that number 40, so that when my eyes are open and I look at myself, you see how it sharpens the eye and sends it toward the nose. Y'all see that? See if I can do it on the other side. I'm going to use my left hand. Make sure the brush is pointed the right way. And right where that natural crease is, that little line, I'm going right above that. Here we go. Look how much, if you pull back. Now, if you're looking at the magic, then you don't see the effect, okay? If you're looking at the thing. Don't look at the thing. But if you just look at my eyes as a set of eyes, they have dramatically become more exotic. That's the best word I can find for that. And that's kind of what this picture is all about, is creating that swoop. So I'm gonna go a little darker. I'm gonna use a darker brown. Yeah. What do y'all think? Is that too dark? Might have gone too far. So much easier to do to other people. I see it, you're a genius. No, I'm just copying, but thank you. I'm glad that somebody thinks I'm a genius. This one turned out great. This one just looks like a weird line, but we got to move on because it will probably all come into perfection as we move on. But you know, when whatever's in focus expands. So if I sit here and focus on it, it's just going to get worse. All right, lashes. I use number 53, just the Ardell. They're available at, you know, Walgreens, H-E-B, Walmart. But number 53 is the shape that I like, and it's the most natural looking ones. And they don't lift as much as those big fancy mink lashes, which are lovely, but that's just not what we're doing right here, right now. And I'm using Japanesque eyelash adhesive. And I lost the lid at Charlotte's house. Woo! Did y'all see that? Okay, so I just poured a little bit onto this plastic thing. I'm just gonna put a little on my finger. And then I'm gonna run it across. And it's gonna bead up. And we're gonna use the dry finger to make sure we pull off any excess. And I really like this stuff because it's kind of, like it's iridescent until it dries, but then it doesn't dry to a sheen, it dries totally matte. So one of the problems I've always complained about with people using that white glue is that it dries and it has a sheen, and you're putting it at your lash line where you want to absorb light, not reflect it. So this one is just even better than the black stuff. The longer you let it sit, the better. But I don't want to bore the crap out of you, and I am anxious to screw this up so I can entertain you guys. So, let me set it on there and let it hang out before you go pressing. So you just want to make contact in 2 points. Okay? So I can feel the contact on the outside and contact on the inside. Now I'm just going to let it sit for a minute. Hi, Kaylee. I'm so glad you're on. Kaylee Joe Johnson. Please look and see how many compliments you've gotten on these earrings. Everybody is obsessed. So please post your link or where they can find you or your website or whatever. And Kaylee is also designing for me my 10-year anniversary wedding ring. She does custom design that is incredible. Really unique, fun stuff. She's so cool. Yes, I am in love with these earrings, and they are in love with me because they do magical things to my face. They really do. Charlotte, these earrings remind me of those big kind of loop ones that you have in that picture that I like so much. All right, so Now, let's go back to this one and press it on. I promise if you let it hang out before you start pressing, it'll practically do all the work for you. And it'll go right into place. You won't believe it till you try it. But you should try it. Okay. This one is gonna go over here. So 2 points of contact. It's better if you get the outside in the right place first, because sometimes you can get these suckers way too close to the inside corner, to your tear duct, and that's just not where they go. Unlike mascara, if you get any of the glue contact here, and let it sit. If you get any of this glue on any other part of your eye, you want to wipe that off right away and not let it rest. Okay, so one of the things about editorial makeup, when you see these pictures, is that the makeup is meant to be viewed in only one pose. Okay, so if you're walking around and talking to people with this, it's going to be very obvious some of the tricks that they've done that work perfectly when I'm looking up, and you know, and you've got cameras, and then you're gonna, so you kind of have to take a grain of salt, you know, take this with a grain of salt, that this is not your everyday look, but you can learn. I'm going to just pull that down a little bit. That glue is pretty flexible, so you should be able to maneuver it a little. All right. Okay, I'm going to go back and I didn't set that concealer with powder, and I need to go back and do that. If y'all ever watch Kendall, she does this with our porcelain foundation, which is even lighter. And I like that look even more. When you highlight this inner membrane with the porcelain, because it's just whiter. This one is a great little flesh color, but if you really want that pow, you can see that it's still not quite as white as the whites of my eyes, but that porcelain is. Now we haven't set anything yet, so if I make a mess, I can go and clean it up. There we go, and fix that little tail, so that when I turn, it looks a little bit more natural. Okay, we're coming together. It's just a hot freaking mess until the very end, I tell you what. Hi, Destiny. Let's see, what now? Crap loads of mascara, blush, lipstick, highlight. All right, let's go ahead and set the face. And before I forget again, I'm going to set that damn concealer that I just put on my inner membrane. There we go. It's gonna make your eye feel dry for a bit, or a couple of bits. All right. Setting powder is gonna give a lovely matte finish, and it's also gonna create kind of a veil that's gonna pull all of the different colors that we've created, the shading and the highlighting. It's gonna kind of marry those a little bit. And I'm gonna use my tapered brush and go in with just a little bit of, oh poop. I sent, it's okay, I'm gonna use number 40. I sent my bronzer to Lindsay. When you're a really good customer and you are sold out, I'll give you my bronzer if you need it. It comes back in this week and she'll buy some more, but she was like, I can't live without it. It's like a drug. That's customer service. So you should buy everything from me. No more drugstore makeup. And it's not expensive, don't be afraid. Our mascara is 20 bucks. Concealers are 24, but they'll last you, like literally if you're just a normal like person, Kaylee, I've seen the kind of makeup you wear, like that would be, that would last you probably a year. You would have your concealer for a year. All right, a little bit of cheek color, kind of right on, she doesn't have it right on her cheeks. Of course, she has a much smaller face than I do. All right, and everything is very, very matte except for that little pixie nose. So I'm gonna go over my blush with a little bit of setting powder because I used the blush that has a little bit of sheen to it. And I'm gonna use a little bit of that shimmery stuff right here, a little bit right there, a little bit right here, a little too much right there. God, it looks like a milk mustache. All right, anyway. Okay, mascara and lips. This mascara is on its last legs. So when you're putting mascara on top of eyelashes, you want to make sure that you are pushing your lashes into the false lashes first and foremost. So sometimes I'll hold my finger up, excuse me, and kind of make them join together. And you can see where this lash did not go on quite as well as the other one. I swear I'm better at this when I do it to other people. I can do it all day long perfectly. Ask the over 300 brides that I've had. But you try to do it in a phone as a mirror, you're gonna screw it up 6 ways to Sunday. Okay, so I gotta go back in with some black shadow. Let's get that Onyx palette out and fill in those gaps. Because if you take this lash off and try to start all over, you're gonna have erased and pull off with the adhesive all of the shimmer and shadow that we already did, which actually wasn't a lot in this particular look, but I think it's empowering for you to know how to fix these mistakes instead of thinking that you've just screwed it up, because we screw it up all the time. All right, so back to mascara. Her mascara is a little on the spidery side, if you ask me. It's pretty chunky, especially on the bottom, but that's okay. All right, get these married together. Push, push together. I can feel my unicorn horn bobbling when I do this. I wonder if unicorns have that problem. And I wonder if they can like lay their horn down on their back like Axis deer do when they're running through the woods, so that they don't get it tangled and stuff. Because could you imagine how annoying that would be? Like everywhere you go in the forest, you're just constantly getting your horn stuck in stuff. I mean, the reason that I haven't had a fancy wedding ring is because, like, when my kids were young, see, I tried to use the mascara there to go in between and fill in the gap. Sometimes you can just lay them down. See, I could have faked it. Then that fills in the gap. There's a lot that goes into eyelashes. The angle at which they sit on your face, you know, they can curl up back into your crease, or they can, you know, so sometimes just brushing them down will fix the mistake. So I probably should have done that over here, because now this one's kind of thick. But that's okay, because we're gonna look up like this anyway, right? Because that's all you can do when you do this makeup, is have that face. Clean up on eyeball. Let's go support that with a little bit more concealer. All right, here come the lips. Stay tuned, because this is where the magic happens. A couple of blinks when you put that shadow up in there, it's going to transfer to the bottom, so you just have to kind of blink a few times, then wipe off whatever's going to transfer to the bottom and move on. Okay, so these lips, I've been really excited to do this because y'all know how time intensive lips are and how amazing it is when you can give someone who is over 40 back the full potential of their lips that they had when they were young. Like it's the happiest thing ever. And you absolutely can if you will use a neutral lip liner. Ours is $18, by the way. And this is light nude. We're gonna go over the vermilion border. Okay, so beyond the pink parts of your lip, and create this nice waxy border. Uh-oh, it says my storage is almost full. Gonna have to hurry this up. But I wanted to show you the three colors that I'm gonna mix. I'm gonna mix Ash, Cherry Pie, and L to get that color. I'm excited. Look how our top lip is a little bit more red than the bottom. The bottom's a little bit more of a purple. Can y'all see that? Do y'all see what I'm seeing, or am I the only person that sees these things? So if my battery dies, come back and check out the finished product. But I'm gonna mix this, yeah, I'll just do it on my hand. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of Ash, a little bit of Cherry Pie, and an equal amount of L. And then I'm gonna take my lip brush and I'm gonna swirl them all together. And I'm going to paint the town unicorn. Where's my lip brush? There it is. Okay, so I'm going here. Can y'all see that? Those are three gorgeous colors put together. And once I get it on there, we may have to adjust the color a little bit, but I think it's gonna be perfect. Hey, Christy Berta Smith. How's the Lula going? I'm flirting with disaster here. I'm trying to rush this, and I normally take a lot of time. Ask Brandy Signs how long it took me to do her red lips yesterday. gotta get rid of y'all. There. I can still hear you. I can't see your comments because they're right over my lips. Whatever you do, make sure those Cupid bows are even. And it's a heck of a lot easier to build one to match the other than to try to take away. I'm really struggling with the dark red in my pale unicorn love, so I am going to add some Cupcake because she looks very Christmas to me and not very spring. Who picked this? All of you did, actually. Well, not all of you, but some of you. 6 of you. There we go. This makes me happy. How much better is that? That tiny little adjustment to a cooler tone when I'm wearing cool colors makes such a huge difference. That it was that brick undertone that just wasn't working with everything else that's so cool toned. So there you have it. So yeah, arch. I still like my other brows better. Not crazy about these, but so here's the little look that she's doing where she's like this and she's looking up. And she's probably not making that face, but I am because I got a lot of face. So this was fun. Thank y'all for tuning in. I am gonna have to go fix my storage problem and work on my mane and my tail because I'm in a parade tomorrow. Not really. I just assume that's what unicorns would say. Like, don't they go to parades? Or they're in parades, or they host parades? I'm not really sure what their role is, but I'm pretty sure parades and rainbow sliding, those are top priorities for them. So I love you guys. This is so much fun. This is the best job ever. Fiesta. Yes, the unicorns must be in charge of Fiesta. Are you going, Charlotte? You're probably going to all of the great things. You're probably going to the Battle of Flowers parade and the Nyosa. I almost died at Nyosa. Ask me about that once. I know you almost died twice recently, so it may not impress you, but I really did. It was insane. I got caught up in a crowd and I had no control over my body, and I was being like pushed in this corridor, and it was the scariest thing in my life. I was nearly trampled. So, but I'm not saying I wouldn't do it again. Okay, so they lead the parade. Of course they do. They're the, that's like their little, what's that baton thing that band directors carry around? My niece would know that. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna take a picture and post it, and it's not gonna look anything like that girl's face, but I'm pretty proud of this. It was fun, and we're gonna be doing this Wednesdays at Wednesday at 9 o'clock. I'll pick another picture from the list. So Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 o'clock, I'll see you here. Ciao.